Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another card video at my YouTube channel and blog. Today I'm using this stamp set from Altenew. It's called Adore You, and there is a coordinating die set, but I won't be using that today. So I'm going to be creating a tri-panel card, and it's going to be really tall. So I've cut my watercolor paper to be 8.5 inches tall by 10 3/4 wide. And then I'm going to be scoring at 3.5 from each end. So I did want to mention and apologize for my kind of weird voice this morning. I'm doing this video and blog post for a blog hop, and like most people, there are not enough hours in the day for me. And so I am actually finishing this video right before this blog post and video are supposed to go live. So it's very early in the morning and my voice is not quite awake yet. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you'll still have some good insight into how this card was made. So I scored, like I said before, at 3.5 from each end, and then used a Teflon bone folder to really get those folds down really flat. So the paper I'm using today is actually Saunders Waterford paper. It's a really thick, luscious watercolor paper. I thought it would be gorgeous to use it for my card front and card base. So that's what I'm using. And I was concerned that if I folded it that it might crack, but it actually held up really well. I think it's because it's a really soft cotton paper. So it worked beautifully. So I'm taking the flowers from that stamp set and I'm stamping them in Versafine Onyx Black ink. That is a waterproof ink, and I'm using that because I'm going to do some watercoloring over the top. And as I'm starting to stamp all these individual images, I'm also stamping a mask for each one at the same time. So I stamp a flower, stamp a mask, cut out the mask, and then apply the mask. And this is because I'm going to have these images overlapping each other, and I don't want to have any of the lines intersect. So by having masks over these different images, it protects those areas, and then when I remove the masks, it makes it look as though those images are in the foreground or closer to the viewer. And it just makes it look like a more cohesive stamped area. So I use the same masks to stamp on the other panel of the card. So I'm basically stamping and watercoloring two panels, the very front and then the next panel inside. I'm going to leave the inside of the card completely free to write a message to the recipient. So I've got all my stamping done, and that took a long time. I think it was about 45 minutes of stamping and masking. So yeah, I apologize for having to speed that up, but it took a very long time. In fact, I'm going to speed up this painting process as well. I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, just a few details about all that painting. I used some Winsor and Newton paints that are inside my portable painter palette. And then the white paint that I used at the end, it was actually white gouache. And I just put that on an acrylic block and then flicked it off the edge of the block to add some more white areas. So because I didn't have this piece taped down to a board, it got really warped while I was painting. And I didn't do that because I just cut the paper too small to begin with. I should have just accommodated maybe like a quarter of an inch around the outside edge, but I forgot. So I didn't tape it down. I went ahead and painted it because I knew I could just use an iron and flatten it out. And that's exactly what I did. I just put a piece of white paper on top, took it over to my regular clothing ironing board, and I ironed it on a no steam setting, pretty high heat, but with no steam. And I just ironed it, and it really flattened out the card extremely well. I was really surprised. And then I just creased those folds one more time, and my card was finished. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.